Google announced last week a new core update in their search algorithm, and although they haven't disclosed any further details on this update, we are seeing early reports on SERP ranking factors changing. So in this video, we are going to analyze the changes and how I think that this is the stepping stone for Google to release their new AI experience in the search page called SGE, or Search Generative Experience as they call it. And what actions can we take now to be ready for this new update and any further updates that are coming along the way. So I have with me this report coming from First Page Sage, which is one of the largest SEO firms in the US. They have a big portfolio of companies. So this report is the summary of what they have seen across all their clients in their portfolio. In the report, they assign a percentage of how important is each ranking factor, and they create kind of like a pie to see what are the bigger pieces in the pie, right? So from the highlights of this report, we can see that backlinks and user engagement have decreased, but they state that this might not be because they are less important. It's just that other factors have become more important. Content freshness and trustworthiness are the two new players in the game. They didn't even have their own category a year ago, and now they occupy the 6th and the 7th position. And you might be thinking, why is Google giving so much importance all of a sudden to trustworthiness and content freshness? And I think the answer is because of their new AI experience, their search generative experience as they call it, where they use AI to sum up the SERP results and make up snippets on the top of the page with relevant and up-to-date information. Now, the problem for Google comes when in the SERP results, there are pages with inaccurate information, either false or outdated information. When that happens, the Google AI picks up that information and places this information in the snippet, and then like the result that Google provides is wrong. So they have been getting a lot of backslash because of this, and I think that's what they are trying to solve with these new ranking factors. And it might be even bigger than this. I think we might be in the middle of a change of paradigm in terms of how search engine works. If you think how search engines were working 30 years ago, they were using keyword density, keyword frequency, or like a reverse index to see where to find certain words and so on in the content of the pages. That was working kind of like, okay. Then Google came with PageRank with the idea of counting how many backlinks was a particular page getting. So the more backlinks, the more important was the page. And so like we have been kind of like iterating over the years on these ideas. And so when ChatGPT came along and people realized that they could ask what they were asking to Google and get a much more natural answer, then Google probably was like, oh, we need to do something about this. And that's when they started working on their generative experience as a way to compete with chatbots like ChatGPT. So I would expect that the next updates are going to be sort of like supporting this new generative experience in many different ways. One of the problems we have is knowing whether to take certain content into the search experience and generating this new snippet. They add trustworthiness. They don't know if like certain content is up to date. Now content freshness is a relevant factor. So this is just a stepping stone into making this new generative experience, generative snippet reality. And so how can we be ready for what's gonna come and for this new change of paradigm? The first one is optimizing for factual content. Try to add content with citations to academia, citations to government pages, or any other trustworthy sources that can kind of like prove that your content is also based on trustworthy sources. The second one is to avoid inconsistencies or false statements at all costs. Google has a patent with IBM where they describe a method on finding inconsistencies or false statements in structured data. They employ a database of known facts, and they try to use that database to cross-reference pieces of content. If they find a line or a piece of text in your article and they kind of like identify that as being falsy, it might jeopardize the whole article, and it might even go against you even as a whole in terms of like the website itself. I would be very careful with that. Third, try to keep your content up to date. They show in the report that pages that were updated at least once a year were getting 4 to 5 positions more than content that wasn't updated. Tip number 4, try to keep your content as diverse as possible. If you have facts that no one else in the search results have, there is a good chance that you will get picked up by the search generative experience and get cited in the top of the Google search page. This is a good way and a really sort of like easy way to make it to the top with original and unique content. Tip number 5 is trying to aim for topical authority. If you don't know what topical authority is, it's essentially trying to cover everything from a particular topic as broad and as deep as you can. If you do that, then Google will see your website and realize that because you have so many information, so much content about that particular topic, you must be very knowledgeable on that topic. This is the theory, but in practice, it's a technique that works very well, has been working very well for the past 2-3 years. And so I think for the short term, it's going to be a good way of showing trustworthiness. So try to aim for this. As a wrap up for this video, I want to leave you with a few reflections. The first one is that being small might actually be a good thing. Google has shifted their approach in terms of how many pages of the same website they are showing for a particular search result. And from their website, they state that no more than 2 web page listings from the same site in our top results, so that no single site tends to dominate all the top results. Before, it was the case where you would look for a particular item and maybe the 5 or 6 first results were coming from Amazon. This doesn't happen anymore, and I think if you are a small niche site, I think this can be very beneficial. Now, the reflection here is that this might be related to Reddit being a keyword in many searches. And if you're not aware of this, but there was something that happened that people called the Reddit blackout, where many subreddit administrators decided to make their subreddits private in protest to Reddit making the API more expensive. And so what happened was sort of like a side effect in which Google became a bit more useless for particular searches, and people started complaining and so on. So I think Google took note of this, and now I think they are going to be more going towards an approach where they prefer that many more smaller sites have a chance to kind of like stay in the top results and not be dominated by a single player. And the last reflection I wanted to make is regarding generating content with AI. AI is here to stay. Google has stated many times that they are not going to flag AI content, and I can't see any signs of Google doing that anytime soon. As long as the content is fresh, up to date, factual, and so on. And so based on this, I think that tools like Originality, Turnitin, and so on, which are based on detecting AI content, are sort of like not very important in the SEO world. And that brings me to my last reflection, which is regarding tools of auto-blogging, one-click generation type of articles, and so on. These tools are based on quantity over quality type of approach. When two different persons use the same tool to generate a one-click article, they are going to get more or less the same article. The amount of facts and that article is going to come with are going to be the same. And knowing that Google has been penalizing duplicated content and similar content since 2011 with Google Panda, then 2015 with RankBrain, they hate duplicated content. And now with the generative search experience, I think they will hate it more than ever when in the SERP results, if everybody is copying each other, they are going to hate that. The best approach here is to incorporate unique content, probably content that doesn't come from web, from your same SERP results, because this is how their search generative experience is going to increase in value for the users that go there. And having a more diverse approach is, I think, what they are looking after. So I would be careful of using these one-click tools because you might get penalized in the future. Instead, I would recommend you to use content libraries or semantic libraries. I have another video in my channel about this, so feel free to check it out. But the idea here is to build a library of content that can come from many different sources, books, PDFs, videos, your own notes, and many other things, and then be able to incorporate this in your AI content generation by using the tool, the software that kind of like gives you put like the topic you want to write on, and then it will give you a lot of text fragments from all those sources, and those text fragments is what you can use in your AI generation. You can pass it directly to the prompt, and then the AI will know those fragments and will use them to generate the article. So it's kind of like a way to augment what the AI knows, to add new facts that only you knows, and just create unique and diverse and up-to-date type of content. So that's it for this week's video. I leave all the links and resources in the video description. If you would like to support my work, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It will help a lot with the algorithm. I post a new video every week, so see you next week.